Welcome to Last Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe, from announcements made by DE that don't necessarily warrant their own videos to community fan art posts and updates. So without further ado, let's go over D's announcements and news from the 7th to the 13th of July. Starting this episode off, we did have TennoCon 2019. I do already have a 10-minute plus video going over Tennolive with all of the announcements from the main stage panel, but I also have a video going over all the announcements from the art panel, so if you do want to watch those, links are in the description. That is where you'll find all the TennoCon information. Now, after TennoCon 2019, they did release update 25.3. This update did go live across all of the platforms, so PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. This update did bring Wukong Prime's access. All his relics are up on your screen for you to read, and his Prime access includes Wukong Prime, the Nakundi Prime, and the Zuge Prime. You can also purchase his Prime accessories from the Prime Access page on the Warframe website if you want to do that, with it including an ephemera, a Syandana, and a skin and fur pattern for your Kubrau. This update did put Hydroid Prime, the Ballistica Prime, and Nami Skylar Prime into the Prime Vault. Because those items enter the Prime Vault, it also means a number of sacrifices have changed for the syndicates. The new Lurker has replaced the Hydroid Prime systems with Mesa Prime systems, the Perrin sequenced Hydroid Prime Neuroptics to Zephyr Prime chassis, and the Nami Skylar Prime blade to the Grand Prime handle. And lastly, the Red Veil Sacrifice Hydroid Prime systems has been replaced with Chroma Prime Neuroptics. This update also made changes to Riven dispositions. As they have said prior, they will be making Riven disposition changes every 3 months with a new Prime access, with the information about those changes being linked in the description down below to the forum post. You can read it all there. Nightwave Series 2 was also a part of this update. Once again, it is live across all platforms. Now, as for the fixes in update 25.3 on PC, they are up on your screen. For all the other consoles, you can find them linked in the description down below. Now, PC also had 3 hotfixes, with Hotfix 25.3.1 updating the Nightwave Act Transmute 3 mods to read complete 3 transmutations. They also made the following fixes: a crash when returning to the Orbiter after earning Nightwave Affinity, Wukong missing his tail when equipping the Wukong Mithra skin, the Grenier Settlement level hole, some laser beams being triggered by Will-O-Wisp, a door causing the screen to turn black in the Grenier Galleon, and an offset left shoulder emblem on Wukong Prime. For Hotfix 25.3.2, they added a bonus objective to one of the Planes of Eidolon bounties, specifically the Assassinate bounty. You can now draw out the target within 1 minute to get an extra reward. They have said more bonuses to come after further testing. This hotfix also made Clan XP changes, with DE saying, if you're not an active participant in the Clan and Dojo system, a lot of this will go over your head, but if you've noticed a discrepancy in your Clan Dojo's XP since the release of Update 25, we have found an issue and have a full breakdown here. As for the issue, upon researching the Update 25 clan weapons, some clans and dojos had a loss of clan XP. On the surface, this seemed like a pretty straightforward problem, but it has turned out to be a bit more complicated. Your clan profile page showed research and pigment XP gains, but there was a whole bunch of invisible XP messing with values, especially if you deleted a decoration or room and finished weapon research. As for the solution, all trophies are now exempt from clan XP and will not reward it. The trading post and treasury will supply their intended XP. As for the next step DE is making, they said, as we release eligible content, you can re-rank your clan over time. We have record keeping of your rank, so you won't re-trigger the rank up rewards. They also added further information. We have a list of rooms and objects that grant you XP, but only if they exist within the dojo, i.e. cannot be built then destroyed. This now works properly, and we are working to highlight this fact more, as we work to expose in UI, saying that the Trading Post, Treasury, Oracle, Energy Lab, Chem Lab, Biolab, Oricon Lab, and Tennolab grant 10,000 XP. The Obstacle Course Architect, Dueling Room, and Temple of Honor granting 15,000 XP. Continuing further into the changes and fixes, for Nightwave, they made it so right-clicking on the Nightwave rewards will now display its preview diorama. The fixes are up on your screen. For Wukong, they made it so Celestial Twin will no longer utilize quick thinking to fix the twin living indefinitely. Once again, the fixes are up on your screen. For Survival, they said the following in regards to a change. Historically, the number of concurrent enemies in Survival was related to where the mission was in the star chart. Early missions tended to have less enemies, and later missions tended to have more, and this number did not change, even when you stayed in a mission longer to face higher level enemies. As an experiment, we have changed the scaling mechanics so that staying in low-level missions longer will also increase the enemy count as it increases the enemy level until it hits the same cap it would have for high-level missions. For Sabotage, they made the following changes in regards to the magnetic situation. They've increased the visibility of the panic button placed at the reactor console, reduced hack time for enemies at the reactor panic button to 1.5 seconds, increased the defend time to 60 seconds from 40 seconds, and they also made 2 fixes, which was no enemies spawning to trigger lockdown at the reactor console, and enemies being unable to reach the reactor console. For the Zanuka Harvest mission, they added objective text in the UI for maximum clarity for what the heck is going on, removed parkour tiles to reduce the chance newer players will get stuck there, and made a possible fix for Zanuka spawning in secret rooms and teleporting players there. For the overall game changes, objective UI markers now flash red to match red X attack markers. Corrupted Vor is now marked with a red X marker if killing him is required to progress past the kill enemy stage in Interception. They changed the spy panic buttons in the entrance hallways of spy vaults to stop enemies using them and setting off the alarm when outside the vault in the Gas City, Grenier Fortress, and C-Lab tile sets. Kuva Cell pickups now take priority over life support tower activation actions to alleviate accidental life support activation in the Kuva Survival. They increased the brightness of the grey ABC markers in Lure Spy missions, improved an extraction area in the Gas City tileset to be a little more generous. They changed the Venus Assassinate area marker so it matches the UI objective. They removed the ability to spawn Arlo devoted healers in the Simulacrum, removed Wisp's footstep sounds when wall running, removed outstanding Old Corpus Lockers and replaced them with the new locker meshes, more on that later in the video, made improvements to the gear spiral controller sensitivity, made teleport pits willing to send loot to a nearby spot as a last resort instead of letting it fall out of the world, made hundreds of micro-optimizations to numerous game and UI scripts. They made some micro-optimizations to screenshots taken with F6, particularly for 4K displays, and they optimized game startup time slightly. For the fixes in this hotfix, they're up on your screen. And lastly, there was hotfix 25.3.2.1, and the fixes are up on your screen. Now this has gone live as of recording this video, but I should note it because it did happen throughout the week. But DE did comment in regards to the missing Nekros Prime Twitch drops from Tennolive 2019, saying that they screwed up, but they would be running a script on the 15th of July, which has now passed, that will reward players who successfully receive the Lotus Ephemera via an inbox message, and those that did not receive Nekros Prime with Nekros Prime. That script has now been completed, and you should have Nekros Prime in your account if you met that criteria. Now, D.E. Taylor did release a TennoCon 2019 Tennogen workshop recap post. If you are into Tennogen, that post is available to you, but to go through it quickly, they're basically allowing players to create new Tennogen content based on new factions, with those factions being the Ostron, Solaris, and Sentient factions. On top of that, they are allowing creators to make chest armor pieces, whip skins, and two-handed Nikana skins. But before the creators can do that, DE needs to release the content in order to do so. They did say they would hopefully get all of it out before the end of the year. The Prime Vault has also gone live as of recording this video, but you can pick up Rhino Prime, Nyx Prime, Ankyros Prime, Boltor Prime, Hikau Prime, Sindo Prime, Nori Prime, Syandana, Distilling Extractor Prime and its blueprint, the Targus Prime armor set, the Valasugatra Prime, and of course the Prime glyphs for both of them. In relation to Nyx Prime and Rhino Prime returning for like the third time, DE Helen had replied to the following post, which said, "Sorry, but why again? It's almost exactly the same time last year these two were unvaulted. Please just don't have the relics in the void this time around. Such a diluted drop table makes getting unvault relics miserable. I don't need anything from this, but would still like to stock up on relics." DE Helen replied, "Unvaulting sometime repeat, but all Prime Warframes are up for future unvaultings, except Excalibur. There are more Prime accessories and Warframes to come in future rounds, so stay tuned." But moving on, DE Rebecca did announce in both a forum post reply and a subreddit reply, saying that the Gild challenge has been removed from this series rotation and possibly future series. Rebecca had also announced that Barracuteer would be returning on the 19th of July. As for developer Twitter posts and now Reddit posts, we first go to DE KillerKarpFen, who said in response to someone posting the Old Corpus Lockers, where he said, "These were replaced globally all the way back end of May, beginning of June. Turns out an integration hiccup left some relics in the game. As for a little explanation, as this isn't a case of why you no fun DE, we have a new and heavily optimized version of the lockers that goes with wishes and desires of art direction. We cannot have two different models loaded into the game, as that is a huge waste of memory. Everyone wants their game to load faster and run better, and this is just one of the many puzzle pieces needed for that. DE Connor tweeting out a picture of Gauss just saying that he was playing him during the preview, #FishTeam, and someone did reply saying, is he going to be obtainable through quests, missions, whatever, on the open locations, with DE Connor replying, nothing to share on that yet, other than he will be free to acquire like other frames. Stay tuned. Next up, the official Warframe Twitter account said Empyrean is built as a cooperative experience, but there will be options for lone wolves like you to enjoy it, too. That was in reply to someone saying, as a single player with no real friends interested in the game, I honestly can't say I did. Concept is great and all, but it just doesn't appeal to my lone wolf style. Once again, that was in reply to the Warframe Twitter account saying, so Tenno, did you enjoy Warframe Empyrean? Next up, someone said in reply to that tweet, I'd enjoy it a lot more if I knew how much longer I had to wait, where the Warframe Twitter account said, we really wish we had a launch date to share right now. Trust us, we're just as eager and excited for the update as you are. So there currently is no release date for Warframe Empyrean. The next Twitter post was from DE George, where he said, here's a quick behind the scenes of the Deviri Paradox music shown at TennoCon. You can see what was left in and out, also mix of programmed and live instruments. I will play that for you now. Lastly, we had the voice actor of Cephalon Psy, who was shown in the Empyrean, saying, hello Warframe fans, I'm the voice of Cephalon Psy. You will refer to me as such. Thank you so much to the team at Digital Extremes and Game Sound Design for such a massive opportunity. You'll all become well acquainted with Psy when Play Warframe Empyrean hits later this year. So going off of that previous tweet, we can expect it, hopefully, this year. Anyway, that does conclude this episode of Last Week in Warframe. If you found the video informative, make sure to leave a like. If you think I can improve upon the series in any way, shape or form, make sure to leave it in the comments section down below. If you want the channel glyph, the codes are up on your screen. I have improved the amount of them because, well, 5 per week is just really shitty for you guys. So there are more codes there for you guys to try and get. If you missed out on last week's episode, there wasn't really much because it was leading up to TennoCon. You can check it out. Annotation is on your screen. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.